jump into the warm-up exercises. Let's see, there's so much here. I'm going to throw this out to you. I apologize for the number of words, but this is a manifesto somebody wrote, and this would be good on your streaming, Chris. Improvising is a powerful operating principle. You don't have to be an expert to improvise. Improvise is for everybody. We all improvise every single day. You're standing in line in a grocery store and you're bored. You know, what I do is I start a conversation with the person in front of me. I say, "You really eat that?" Or, whatever. And it always creates smiles, because people are used to standing, rigid, looking around. It's a lot more interesting to make up as you go along. Improvising is a practice like yoga or cooking. The more we do it, the better we get at it. Creativity can be cultivated. We can learn what we don't know. We believe in asking why not when we have an interesting idea and trying the idea out. So improvising is more active. We can be afraid to do something and then do it anyway. Mistakes are often paths to unexpected solutions. And one of the nice and very gentle things I like about improvisation is you can't make any mistakes. If you do something and you think, "Oh my goodness, that didn't come out right," it's great. You were being creative. It doesn't matter. So it's a very safe environment for mistakes. They're actually encouraged. Mistakes are often paths to unexpected solutions. Making mistakes is the way we learn. Perfection is overrated. Constraints are challenges rather than limitations, whether money, space, or materials. Making a mess is essential art of improvisation. Improvising is an antidote to limiting ideas, or an antidote. Improvising guides you to the solutions you are looking for, and it's a path full of richness and discovery. So today, the structure is we're going to do a few warm-up exercises for 5-10 minutes at the most. And then we're going to do some improv exercises. And then at the end, we're going to do a couple performance pieces, which will all be a lot of fun. So let's start by just going around the circle. We'll go this way.
Oh, okay, so this.
And if you would just tell us who you are, and what your experience is with improv, if any, or your interest. And let's start with Terry.
Yeah, and so my experience has been with Marc's classes, I guess, last year, and maybe even the year before that. So maybe 3 or 4 classes. I just think it's kind of fun to let go and just practice laughing. So that's it for me.
I'm Audrey. I haven't taken any classes, but I feel like I'm almost not intentionally improvising most of my life because things just kind of tend to I'm very impulsive, I guess, and especially my words, things just tend to come out, and then a lot of times I end up thinking that in my head it's funny, but I'm like, what? It's, listen, if you were there, it'd be funny. So, like I have unintentional
Improvisation.
yeah, I guess.
Yeah, okay, good. And you can tell when you're talking to somebody how they enjoy the language, if you will. There's one person that, I'm sorry, didn't make it today. He's a watchmaker that repairs watches and so on.
That's what makes him tick.
It does. There you go.
A punster.
Puns are welcome. Anything that just rolls off your mind or tongue. And I had brought a watch in to have it fixed. And I noticed in the conversation, his name is Ernest. And he uses a lot of old style ways of using words, which makes him a very interesting person. And I said, you really should come to one of my improv groups. Oh, that sounds good. And he didn't make it today. He probably, was caught up in time in some form or the other. But so yeah, to me, improvisation is a way of acting, maybe not acting out, but being more active in your responses to situations and people. And one of the things that I got out of improv some years ago, coming from Minnesota and being pretty conservative, was that if I'm in a group of people, let's say there's a conversation going on here that I have some interest in, I want something I want to contribute to it. And people are talking, where do I jump in? So one of the things I learned is to listen really carefully and look for an opening or a place to jump in. And if I don't find one, if it's, one person is talking after another, they're talking, I'll just, hopefully not rudely, but I'll just jump in and make space for what I have to say. And so that's made me a little more aggressive in some ways, in a good way though. Because otherwise I'd sit around, well, darn it, I didn't get to say what I wanted to say. Whose fault is that but mine? And there's many, many benefits of improvisation, and too many to even talk about here in one day. One of the things and most of what we're going to be doing is going to be two-person scenes. We may do a few three-person ones. And one of the things I want to ask everybody here is, if you're in a scene or in a situation and you're not, is that enough light for everybody? Some people are a little sensitive to light, myself included. So, if you're in a situation and you don't know what to do, fake it until you make it. It doesn't matter. Whatever comes out of your mouth is appropriate. So it's it's very laid back in a number of ways. So
we're not done talking about each other.
Thank you. Steve.
Yes, I'm up. My name is Steve. I did improv a lot in high school, actually, and got away from that for many, many years and got back into it about a year ago, would you say, with Unscrewed?
A year, a little more maybe.
Years and change. Did the improv 101 course there, which I loved. And this is I did one other class there, drop-in class, and now this.
Mm-hmm. Well, good. You're welcome. Glad to see you here.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, great. And it is that. That's there's a lot of pleasure. It's not an accident that this is a highlight of my week, because I bring pleasure to other people by providing an environment where they can really be themselves. I've had a number of couples that came to this group. Some of them were older couples, and I would put them in scenes together, and of course with other people. And when it was over with, they said, well, I didn't know that about you. We've only been married 30 years. It brings people closer together. It's really a trust building, but I think it's more even intimacy building. Intimacy is just being honest, really, with someone else that you're able to trust with your deepest, darkest secrets. So, let's.
Maybe tell us.
I feel like you're on a pulpit, man. I really do. So I'm a plumber, and I'm about to become a member of the NRA, which I'm a big Trump supporter, and that and if anybody doesn't like that, they can fuck off. My thing with improvisation is that I hate it, and that greatest experiences from my father being an actor and me being on drugs, and so I'd have to fake it to not get in trouble.
Well, good, you're in the right place then.
That was a lot of lies.
See, it's up to everyone to discern that. And not that it really matters.
We're about halfway, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's Sky.
Oh, I'm Sky. I have no experience in improv. I've been to 2 unscrewed workshops, which I
So then you have experience.
gladly, well,
You're
I've
more of an
watched
observer.
them.
Yeah.
And one improv workshop, I had no voice, but I just sat in the workshop audience and watched and was entertained. So this time will be my first time actually participating.
How exciting.
Because I have a voice, and I said the next time I'd do it. So
The
here we are.
audience is participating in my mind.
Well, that's true. Yes, it's all about your different perceptions.
Just to butt in also, like your view of I'm the observer and not the viewer. Yeah.
New knows a lot about
I
me.
think
Yes,
I think you should still go with the being observer.
I am an observer.
It's a nice safe place.
That's what I.
Even if you're participating.
That's what I label
just-
myself as.
I'm
an
observing
observer.
myself participate.
Mhm. True.
Good, yeah.
Pretty open-minded from right here.
Yeah, the Trump supporters are really
Okay,
open-minded that way.
well, now we're gonna get into some icebreakers and let's see, we're gonna stand up to the first one. For most of these, I'm just gonna do 2 or 3. One is gonna be a name circle where we get a chance to remember everybody's name here. And don't worry about it. Don't be like me at the beginning. It's like, how am I gonna remember 6 names or 7 names? Doesn't matter. And if you come around to them and you don't remember what their name is, give them a name that you make up. That's acceptable. Yeah. We have new here. So, and your cousin Olga was told is going to be here very soon. So, let's see. So I think we'll do the name circle. Then we're going to do. Let's see. We'll do Thunderdome. That's a pretty challenging one.
Sounds rather fun. Thunderdome, ominous
Yes.
even.
Yes. Okay, so this rug here is essentially the stage. And I don't want to have this in the middle where anyone might trip. Terry, could you help just move this back? I think right here is good. You still have to move it out.
I'll be in the stage area.
Yeah.
Okay, if you would stand up, we're gonna form a circle on the carpet here.
I'm gonna stand in front of the TV.
Okay.
All right. Block all
We'll
that
have to
radiation.
move this off.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna say our name, and then we're gonna have some movement and action with that. So an example would be Mighty Mark. So I'm giving another, preferably adjective, but it doesn't matter. Just another word with my name and a movement. Okay, and then we're gonna just go around the circle. So we go from here, and then he's gonna repeat the same thing. So this is an exercise in paying attention and being present. So right after I say this, then you just repeat it and go around.
He says Mighty Mark, then he'll just say Mighty Mark, and
Yeah.
then he introduces himself also?
No,
No, just
No,
okay.
we're keeping it really simple.
Okay.
Yeah,
to
good.
begin with.
Okay,
We
good.
don't want to even die of a heart attack or faint or anything. Okay, so Mighty Mark.
Mighty Mark.
Mighty Mark.
Mighty Mark.
Mighty Mark.
Okay. And then you come up with one.
Curious George.
Curious George.
Curious George.
Curious George.
Curious George.
Curious George. Okay, and the thing to do, eye contact is another very important thing. So starting with you, Sky, you're gonna look at the next person and give yours, and then he'll look at the next person and give his, and so on. So we're making eye contact.
Changing.
I think so, we're adding element.
Yeah.
Slimy sky.
Slimy sky.
You can really do that. Slimy sky.
Slimy sky.
Slimy sky.
Slimy.
Now I'm just.
No, so you brought it back to you where it started.
Okay, and then.
So
he
then
just-
he starts next.
Sly Steve.
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 Okay, whatever comes up.
I don't even know. Allegedly Audrey.
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 And that was good, by the way. Very good.
Terrible Terry.
Terrible Terry.
Terrible Terry.
Terrible Terry.
Terrible Terry.
Okay, so now we're gonna do one that's called Thunderdome, and let's have two people. Well, let's see. Everyone sit down, and let's have yeah, wherever you want. It doesn't
That's
matter.
awesome.
Ceiling, there's plenty of room up there too. And I'm gonna do a demonstration. Steve, why don't you stand up? And this is called Thunderdome. I don't know if you've ever done it.
Doesn't sound familiar.
It's it goes by different names as most of these do. And we're gonna give I'm gonna give you a subject, and we're gonna go back and forth as long as we can and see who can last the longest. So like I'll say color of hair. And I might start with blonde, and then you give me another color, and we'll keep going as long as we can.
Okay.
See who is the most creative or most inventive or whatever it might be. So let's go with a different one. Well, that's really easy. Let's start with that one.
All right.
So colors of hair: blonde,
Salt and pepper.
brunette,
Sky blue.
good, red,
Purple.
orange,
Green.
lavender,
Garsniffless.
You threw me off balance on that one. Okay. I give up. So that was a good example. So let's do one that's a little more challenging. We'll do one more and then we'll just go around. Let's go with trees.
Okay. Apple tree.
Pine,
Orange.
lemon,
Tangerine.
and we can't repeat anything. So it's not one of my favorite ones anymore. Ponderosa pine,
Maple.
willow,
Peach.
apricot,
Walnut.
cherry,
Almond.
plum,
Pineapple.
avocado,
Coconut. I guess that would be a palm, wouldn't it?
But so the pineapple.
Pineapple
Okay.
grows on trees.
Does it? I thought it was
Yeah.
like a
Yeah, it does.
actually. I'm glad.
Okay, so good. So let's go next. Let's bring two people up. Let's see. Do you two, Sky and Chris?
Steve, you should say family tree.
Ooh, that would have been good.
What is
Yeah.
Trees or?
No, you just pick. Let me see. Let's pick a subject. Unless you have a subject.
Let's go with the people we hate.
Okay, there you go. That works.
Jesus.
My
That's
mom.
an insight.
people.
God.
Sarah,
Alyssa.
Cheryl,
Security guards named Cheryl.
barbecue,
Or people. Barbecue. My friend barbecue. Garrick.
Jaime,
Mark.
Becky,
Kenan.
AFI,
Lawrence.
Jonas Brothers,
Mr. Huberman.
Trump.
Yeah.
Good, right there.
See,
Thank you.
Oh.
Okay, let's see. You two.
Okay.
Yeah, you two. And I'll give you a subject. Let's say cars.
cars,
Shit.
fast,
Matchbox.
There you go.
Mercedes,
Hot Wheels.
places to play in the backseat.
That's not a car, you schmuck.
But it's creative.
Tonka.
Toyota,
Pickup.
Pontiac,
Chevy.
Ford.
Bulldozer.
That's not a car.
You said plate. Bullshit.
Close enough. We'll stretch it here.
There you go. Fiat,
Miata.
Audi,
Scion.
Volkswagen,
The Pearl.
Toyota.
You already said Toyota.
Good. Good job. Okay. And by the way, if anyone needs to use the restroom, it's straight down the hallway, the second door on the right. The door is open. We're gonna go with mirroring. What's that?
Just what was coming up in my mind was the Flintstones cars. Unable to call out other thing than a Flintstone car. Just like, what is the brand of that?
Wow.
Okay, so let's do a real traditional one that everyone, I know you've done this one, Steve. It's called Zip Zap Zop.
Oh, yeah.
And all you have to remember is the order, Zip Zap Zop. But we're doing this in a circle, so actually everyone looks comfortable, so we'll stay seated for it now. So I would point, and you have to make sure the other person returns your eyesight. So I'm looking at sky, and I say zip, and you can point at it. And then you point at someone else and say zop.
Zap.
Zip, zap, zop.
Okay. Oh, zip, zap.
Okay.
Okay.
Get ready, zip, zap, zop.
Whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, zip, zap, zop.
Okay.
Thinking about it too much. So, zip,
Zap.
Zop,
Zip,
Zap.
Zop.
zip,
zap.
Zop.
Zip.
zap,
Zip.
zap,
zop,
Zip,
zap,
zop,
Zip.
Zap.
zop.
zip,
Zap.
Zip.
zap.
zop,
Zip,
zap,
Zop.
Zap.
And the other one, we get this going so fast that you don't have time to think about it. So we'll do another one. This one is mirroring. This is one of my favorite things. I like to do a mirror. Steve, stand up. So you've probably done this before.
Back in the day.
Yeah. So whatever I do, you're going to mirror. And at a certain point, so I'm starting out leading. At a certain point, intuitively, he'll take over and lead, and I'll follow him. So we're starting out just movement, first of all. We can add sound to it. We can add other things. But for right now, it's just going to be this. And then we're going to add a little bit of movement walking around, too. Okay. So now let's add a little sound. Oh, e, ooh, ah, ting, tang, walla, walla, bing, bang. One of my favorite ones. And then this is actually a very spiritual one. The universal sounds. Mane Padme And then this is a Buddhist. Gate, paragate, parasamgate. I don't expect you to follow.
No comprendo.
Bodhiswaha. Okay, and so you go ahead and lead. Very good. Okay, so that's how it goes. It's just mirroring. It's movement. It's paying attention, looking at the person that's there. And I think that you're anxious to do this next.
All right, let's do
I'm
it.
guessing. And I've got to run and use the restroom, so just you know what to do. Whoever wants to decide between.
Slap you over the head so bad. I'll be busy. Yeah. I don't know.
All right, next two.
Alright, ready?
Yeah.
I'm a leader,
You're a leader.
I guess.
It should be whoever cracks up first, like.
Let's have 3 people. When you come. So we can make it merge.
Okay.
So we're all kind of.
Okay.
So if we're leading,
I think we should all just kind of mutually.
We're all mutually
Yeah.
leading.
Your right hand follows the right person on your right, but the left hand follows the person on your left.
Yes.
we're doing a 3-way here. Now Wagon save me.
A little more challenging.
We did it.
All right. So
What was the most challenging is they were all leading.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes, well,
I like this mirror.
we'll step it up one more. This is called the structure, and this one you really have to pay attention. And this is the way it goes. I'm going to choose breakfast cereals. We're going to form a circle up here as we speak. All of this. And so remember where you're at in the circle. We're not going to move yet. And I'm going to say Cheerios. And then you give me the name of a cereal.
Frosted Flakes.
Cheerios.
A different one. Okay, Cheerios, Frosted Flakes, and Wheaties, right? Okay.
Cocoa Puffs.
Unicornos. That's a real thing.
Okay. Now remember, because when I hear Fruit Loops, I'm going to say Cheerios. And when I say Cheerios, you're going to say, what was it? Frosted Flakes?
Oh, say the same thing?
Yeah, same thing.
Frosted Flakes.
Okay. And when when he hears Frosted Flakes, he's going to say Wheaties, and so on. And so when you hear Wheaties, you say,
Cocoa Puffs.
and when you hear Cocoa Puffs, you say,
Unicornos.
and when you hear Unicornos, you are Fruit Loops. Okay, so now we're going to do it. We're just trying to speed it up. So we want to get to a point where you can't think, no accessing your memory, just what comes out. So Cheerios,
Frosted Flakes.
Cocoa Puffs.
Unicornos.
Fruit Loops.
Cheerios,
Frosted.
Cocoa Puffs.
Or Unicornos.
Fruit Loops.
Cheerios.
Frosted Flakes.
Cocoa Puffs.
Okay,
Unicornos.
freeze. Now we're going to go the other direction.
Frosted Flakes.
Cheerios,
Fruit Loops.
Unicornos.
Cocoa Puffs.
Frosted Flakes.
Cheerios.
Fruit Loops.
Okay, now that was pretty easy, right? Okay. So let's add colors to this. So we're going to have two circles going at once. Oh, it's fun. Right? So we'll stick with the cereal. So I'm going to say blue,
Yellow.
Orange.
Purple.
Grape.
blue,
Orange.
Cheerios.
Frosted Flakes.
Keep going.
Oh God. Purple.
Grapes.
Orange.
Cheerios, blue.
Frosted Flakes. Yellow.
What?
See, someone threw a box of cereal in here and it came out wrenches. Yeah, and that's fine.
I want to go try some unicornos. I've never heard of them.
They're like they're just
Oh, they
fruits.
exist?
Yeah, they're just Fruit Loops that are like pink and purple and blue.
Oh,
They're
okay.
just pastel Fruit
Not
Loops.
nearly as excited.
Well, you're fucking wrong.
I was hoping you were telling me they'd be all marshmallows like in Lucky Charms.
Yeah,
Yes,
like
they
that.
do have unicorn Lucky Charms though. They're just delicious.
Okay, so let's have a seat. I think we've broken the ice. If any of you are ice skaters, you want to be careful how thick the ice is.
That's right.
That was the one thing I enjoyed about living in Minnesota is ice skating. Especially had a lake. I could go from one end to the other. I was the only one out there most of the time, except the animals watching me, hoping that I'd fall in or something.
And died being the deal.
I think it was actually the neighbors, not the animals. Okay, so we're gonna do some improv exercises that are really designed for specifically for this. And we'll start with a really basic one. This is one I learned a long time ago, and I used to do it at parties. And it's one word at a time. So I'm just gonna start here saying when, and we'll go counterclockwise. So just add a word. What's that?
Making a story.
Story.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, let's just go this direction. So when
The
The
People.
okay, it should be a different word. When the people
when the people. When the
Okay.
people.
Okay. And now there's two ways to do that. We can just do word by word, and then when we want to add the complexity, repeat everything that was said before you.
But it has to
and
be-
add a word.
Let's do it over, like, because it has to be different words.
Yes,
So let's do
different
it. Let's do
words.
it over then.
Okay. Why?
cats.
Are
Stupid.
And
No, that's.
I
would word cat.
Alive.
Brain surgeon. I have two.
No, that's okay. It was
Brain
fine.
surgeons are a rough word.
hyphenated.
I'll take surgeon since she said brain.
Okay, that's an easy way. Okay, next. What
We
would
lost our story.
yeah, we
It didn't make any
fell
sense
into a
with the
deep
cat.
pit.
Maybe we should go this way.
Let's
Uh,
start it over. Start over.
Yeah, we'll start it over, but this time, using one word at a time isn't very challenging. So let's repeat everything up to you, and then you add a word. So we're adding a word, you just have to remember everything that was said before. So if we start right here, once,
Upon.
Once upon shit.
Once upon shit napkins.
Once upon shit napkins there.
Once upon ship napkins there was.
Once upon ship napkins, there was a
Yellow. Oh, once upon ship napkins there was a yellow.
Once upon ship napkins, there was a yellow Fruit Loop.
Yeah,
It's
you said
a compound word.
That's okay. That works.
Once upon ship napkins, there was a yellow Fruit Loop disaster.
That's a full sentence, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mr.
Yeah, no, we'll stop there. Let's do one more. And Audrey, you can start it this time. And we'll go the same direction clockwise.
Blue.
Flowers.
Grow.
Blue flowers grow wrong.
Blue flowers grow wrong, so
Blue flowers grow wrong, so I'll
Blue flowers grow wrong. So I'll drown.
Blue flowers grow wrong, so I'll drown every.
Blue flowers grow wrong, so I'll
Drown.
drown. And it's okay to help people out, especially
Drown every.
every day.
Blue flowers grow wrong, so I'll drown every day. Except.
blue flowers grow wrong every day, except
so I'll drown.
So I'll drown
Oh.
except.
blue flowers grow wrong every day, so I'll drown
Every day except.
every day except Mondays.
Good. It's Sunday, so that's over with.
Something to
Okay,
look forward to tomorrow.
good.
It's Sunday.
Okay, so now we're gonna get a little deeper into some exercises. And we're gonna take a short break. I have some snacks, energy bars, things like that, if anyone needs some energy. In about 5 or 10 minutes. And we can use the restrooms and so on. What we're gonna do now, let's see, there's so many things. We're looking at building a scene. Physically, a scene usually consists of 2 people, sometimes 3, as I mentioned. And a very important thing in improvisation is yes. And yes and. So no is something that can be used occasionally if it's justified. But when you say no to someone in a scene, where is it going to go?
Guys.
Yeah. Exactly. So we want to, let's say, I'll give you an example. Someone walks up to me and says, "You really look tired today. Do you want to go home and take a nap?" And either, let's see, what do I think? That's not the best. Well, so if the person answers negatively and say, "No, I'm not really tired. I'm okay. I want to stay here," you are, first of all, denying part of the reality that you are tired or you look tired, and you want to contribute to that. You don't want to take it away. So whenever possible, which is most of the time, you're going to be saying, "Yes, I did see someone take that money, and he ran into your apartment." So you're going to build on that. You're going to add to it to contribute. So there's 3 basic things that you should when we're going to start doing 2-person scenes here. And I'll always give you an example of everything, but you want to find out who the person is, where they are, and what they're doing. So in doing this, you might say, "Oh, Chris, I thought your hair was pink."
I think it's talking to you, man.
You're referring to me.
Me, yes, me.
You're not referring to me then.
No, to me,
You're referring to Chris.
to Chris.
Chris did not make it today.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been replaced.
Well, I will send flowers.
Yeah.
Okay.
No need for that.
Oh,
If you know what I mean.
I entirely do. Don't share that with anyone else. We'd have to take that sword behind you and use it. Anyway, not best of examples. It's always best to demonstrate, to do it. So, let's have, let's see, throw the dice here. Sky, why don't you come on the stage here?
All right.
And we're going to do a scene. I'm going to give you a subject, and we're going to do a conversation, not more than 3 or 4 sentences. And as much as you can in this, you're going to, we'll use your name. You know, I could give you a different name, but we'll use your name.
Use a fake name, Jennifer. It's fun. Yeah, use Jennifer.
Okay. No suggestions. Okay.
Okay.
So we're going to name, we want to know who we are, what the relationship is between us, and what are we doing,
It's who, what, and where?
essentially, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, there's a few others, but those are the basic things that we need.
got it.
So, Jennifer, it seems like you've been to Hawaii because I see you're doing a little bit of a hula.
Yes, I just got off the plane.
Did you get laid?
I got laid and I got off the plane. And I was near water.
You were near water. Well, I understand that Hawaii is a very dangerous place if you don't know how to swim, sister.
I was prepared for that. I brought a pack with me and I can breathe anywhere.
Oh, that's good. Then you could swim with the whales next time they come in.
Yes, because the salmon brings in the whales.
Okay, good. And same.
Okay.
So we identified I didn't really identify who I was. Though I did at some point, I said sis or sister.
Okay, so
Okay.
should I be asking you questions? Like I feel
Well,
like you're just
okay.
reading,
Yeah,
I'm just answering your questions
Let's-
in this scenario.
we
should I
try
be
not to
asking
use questions at all,
you? Okay,
but statements.
okay.
Because the
I think that's right.
questions limit, it sort of puts the person on the spot. We don't really want to do that. So when you make a statement, you leave it more open to
Okay,
go anywhere. A question is more too specific and puts the person on the spot.
okay,
So as much as you can refrain from using questions, I think I actually was guilty of that too.
mhm,
So we can take like just 3 lines. We don't need more than that. And we can answer those questions as far as the structure, the improv structure.
so for
goes
this
on in the
exercise, we
scene.
really should be, well, I should have answered who I was in the first statement, my second statement is, where I was and what I was doing, is the third
Yeah,
statement?
well, something that relates to who we are to each other,
Okay,
relationship. So relationship, what we're doing, and where we're at.
okay,
Now, the location doesn't always necessarily come up. That's not, The most important thing is the relationship between the two people. That tells you a
Who
lot.
they are
Who
between
they are,
the
yeah.
two people, okay, alright.
Yeah, and what you're doing. Those two things, you can answer that.
So I can ignore your, well, not this last exercise, you were, I felt like asking questions. But I can ignore those and just make up my own thing
Yeah.
and state it, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. So, let's take, Steve. It's easier for me not to be in the midst of the scene when I'm coaching them. So, let me give you a subject, which will be skin diving.
Mm.
And so either one of you start a scene related to skin diving, and just remember to try in your conversation, which is only going to be maybe 5 or 6 sentences at the most. You're going to show who you are to each other and why you're there or whatever you're doing.
Okay.
Okay? Okay.
So I have never done this before. You sure you can teach me how to do it right?
Yes, the cruise ship brought all the supplies.
All right, so we're going to.
Okay, so Steve, let me just stop you here. So that sounded like a question. Make
Yeah.
it more of just take the same thing,
Yeah.
but make it in a statement.
Okay.
So same thing.
I'm really scared about this. I'm really scared about going skin diving. You seem brave.
We're prepared. Everyone has all the supplies.
Okay, and what is your relationship between you? I'm at a loss as to what it is.
Well, when I first started, my intention was she would be the instructor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I picked that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and then I reaffirmed.
Yeah.
I was doing so
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I was the
Yeah.
instructor.
Okay.
I
good.
have more expertise than him. So that.
Okay. Okay, good. And why are you where you're at? Where are you at?
You want us to answer that or ask?
Yeah, both.
Okay.
But yeah, not so much answer for me, but to act that out in a conversation.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Where are
Where am I?
you? Just
The sand. We wanted to pick up all the boxes from the sand.
It's nice to keep the beach nice and clean.
Well, if we were at the beach, yes. But this is a playground. This is our practice area.
okay, so let me stop you. The reality that one person brings into the scene, you add to that, you don't change it.
Oh, darn. Okay.
Yeah, you can't change it.
Okay.
Because that confuses the audience. People say, well, I thought it was a beach, now it's a sandbox. You have to be grounded in a certain amount of reality
Okay.
for it to work.
Got it.
So let's just do the last part again. You're at the beach and
What we're doing.
yeah, what were you doing? Now you realize that you're actually at the beach. The sandbox
Okay.
was stolen or something.
I'm at the beach. We're
Whatever comes to your mind. Doesn't matter.
today's trash day.
I love cleaning trash from the beach while I'm scuba diving.
You're in the wrong place.
Good, unseen, have a seat. Thank you.
Yay.
Okay. Let's see.
My
So-
brother does that once a year. He goes to Catalina Island with a bunch of guys. And they
Yeah,
clean up scuba.
thanks. Yeah.
Oh, good for them.
My playground idea was when you learn to scuba dive, you never go to the ocean first. You scuba dive in a pool. So I was thinking that we were preparing. in a
I thought you
safe
should
spot.
scuba dive in the sand. That would be
That would
hilarious.
be that man made that like
full suit, flippers, mouthpieces, everything. Just dive headfirst into the sand in Oxford.
yeah. There's a YouTube video where a guy turned a hot tub filled with sand into a swimmable medium using vacuums and things.
Cool.
So there's diveable sand out
That's
there.
awesome.
Okay, and the next people, we're gonna do something different. I'm gonna have Audrey and Terry in a scene. And this one is called Painting the Landscape. Now, this is a little more challenging, and actually, it's gonna involve everybody.
Cool.
And it's gonna start with you two. And let's see, I did that for the first time in this room with one of the more experienced teachers at Unscrewed Theater, Rob.
You're just throwing us to the wolves now?
Yes. So I hope you can run fast. Or stand your ground, whatever the case may be.
I'm gonna domesticate it and make it my pet in 100 years.
There you go. Oh, make it shorter. We might not be around that long. So this is painting a scene. I'm going to give you a subject, and I'm going to start it, and then we're going to go, you two, and then we'll just go around the room. You'll each contribute something. So
Do you want us to stay here?
for now, yeah, I'll give you a cue as to when to. You'll see. So this involves using your imagination a lot. In fact, that's probably all you have, and any experience that you can draw upon. And let's see, what I'm going to create the space in which we're going to paint. We are in a very large basement of a Catholic church. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually see that. And I'm going to start the painting. And you need to look in that direction. So it's 360 degrees. So it starts right behind you, Terry. And it's going to go around all the way back to where Audrey is standing. And we're all going to add something to this picture. So I'm looking out, and the ceiling is made of cement, and it's very low. And it's pretty sterile. There's nothing very interesting on the walls, except for crosses of varying sizes and strange looking women who look like penguins running around really quickly. And what else?
What am I seeing?
Yes, what are you seeing as part of this continuous picture
My
in
favorite
this
part
basement?
is the angry unicorn chasing Jesus. I'm not sure what they meant by that, but he looks pretty scared.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Part of Christmas.
And he's coming to the cliff, and he's likely going to fall off the cliff.
Okay, very scary.
Yeah.
Audrey?
I think it's just those boxes. They're in the corner that are a little bit concerning to me, and the scales that are strewn about the table over there, and then this penguin lady is running around with those little bags of white powder. It's a little concerning to me with the sterile environment, the implications could have on this Catholic Church.
Ah, okay. All right, thank you. Sky, what do you see in this picture?
I see the penguin lady, but the clown standing behind her, I think, is more menacing or concerning at this point.
What is the clown doing
What
behind
is the clown doing? Nothing good. There's a table. I'm
Scary.
not too sure. Oh, he's bending down now. It could be bad.
Okay. So we have a bad situation, and it's going, where is it going?
Me?
Mhm.
I guess it's gonna get worse.
Bring it home, man.
So, oh, look, there's the Holy Spirit coming out of the box. It's not drugs, it's just spirituality. And that wasn't cocaine, that was just what made into those nice little hosts. And they're feeding each other. Now they're taking off their clothes. Oh, doesn't that look magical? and they're setting themselves on fire. I guess that must be part of the spirituality of it. At least it's a little warm here, but it's kind of smoky. I really want to get out. I'm like, oh, jeez.
Very good. Good. You don't have any lack of imagination. And Steve.
Oh, look, the firemen are coming to put out all the people who set themselves on fire and to save the day. They built up quite an appetite. Good thing there's all these toasted wafers for them to eat. Amen.
Okay.
And women too.
And the priest walks down the stairs. What the hell?
So,
At least the unicorn got away safe.
Unicorn did get raised.
so with all that, a very interesting picture in this basement. I imagine that's more action that's went on down there in some time.
I was really trying to get away from not talking about pedophilia. So
Me
it was like-
too.
I
I
was really
you
trying to,
mentioned
like,
sterile dark room, and I was like, oh god, it's
Yeah.
for all the children.
I don't like going to like all the remembering things. Try to go to the imaginative stuff.
Yeah, good. Well, that worked pretty well. How did you feel about that? Any comments?
I didn't think of pedophilia.
It's Catholic Church, how do you not?
I
It's
don't know.
practically written in the Bible.
Oh no, I went to Catholic church. I went to a Catholic school. But I don't know. I just didn't think that.
Okay.
I heard penguin lady and I thought of it.
And you know
Don't make
what I,
comments.
who I was referring to as a penguin,
No.
the nuns.
Oh.
I
They
didn't
look
get that
like
till
that.
after about 2 people
Oh,
later. I thought,
okay.
oh, that's what you're talking about.
Lily.
I just
Through and through.
I caught it right off.
It took me until about like he said, I was like, oh no, like
Chili Willy?
Yeah, that's my.
Do you remember Chili
derogatory.
Willy? Do you remember Chili Willy? My name
Vaguely.
is Chili Willy. I'm frozen through and through. I had her hot and my feet are cold. Ha, he, ha, choo.
Did you make this
no.
up? It's in your head. Isn't it?
No, this is a
It's
penguin.
okay. Just admit it.
It's a
Yeah,
penguin.
I remember seeing a picture.
He was like,
That's right, it's a
Oh.
penguin who was
oh,
always
he's a
cold.
cartoon.
Yeah. I
He
remember
was,
that.
could never
Chili
get
Willy.
warm. Yeah, it's like what, 30, 40,
I think it was like
50 years.
Bullwinkle or something.
Oh, I
Bob was not-
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna take a short break. You know, the restrooms are, does anyone need water?
Be nice. The water, please.
Water? You need the restroom? Okay. All right. Let's see, and there's some energy bars there.
That was.
Stick these up here, maybe. Let's see. Oh, Venus, you're standing back there. Could you do me a favor? I'd have to get a ladder. The world.
The globe?
The globe. Could you sit it up on top
Mm-hmm.
of the shelf? And it's an uneven area up there, so.
Hey Mark, are you familiar with the Flat Earth Society?
Yeah, I've heard of it. Someone wrote a book on it. Yeah, I thought it was pretty fascinating. What
Mark, where was the water?
let me get sure. I can give you a glass or a bottle.
Either way.
I know what you're doing. There's plenty of stuff like that. At least 2 sets a day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I had a pinched nerve in my neck 3 months ago.
getting better?
Oh, yes, it's completely healed.
Wonderful.
I had to do many exercises and other things.
You wanna see some really cool pictures? My wife's just getting back from Africa.
Oh my gosh.
That leopard or cheetah or whatever just grabbed her hair right there through the
I
fence.
discovered this at,
Did she get hurt?
No,
Cool.
isn't that awesome?
Wow.
Thanks for inviting me.
So she's there now?
Yeah, she's getting ready to board the plane from home.
Oh,
So she's at the airport.
oh, she's been gone.
Better part of a week. I guess by the time she gets back, it'll be 10 days, so won't be back till tomorrow night. Long flight. 8 hours to Germany and then 12 or something. From there to here. She'll probably have to stop there and do a layover, then fly to, probably from there to Chicago or Texas with a layover.
Yeah.
And finally get here.
Would anyone like orange?
Oh, how nice. No, I'm good. Thank you for offering.
Sure, I got a bunch.
Appreciate the snacks, Mark.
yes, you're welcome.
Mark, would you like orange?
Yeah, I'll have a little bit. Just a couple segments.
Oranges are appealing.
Ah,
Aren't you brilliant?
Would you like orange?
Aren't you
I'm not a
brilliant?
good thing. I just want to make a dumb joke.
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
That's really how I express my humor. Is just through terrible, terrible puns.
Well,
I do the same.
terrible puns can be very good puns.
It's and it's one of those things where people always ask me, nobody likes me, always groan. Why do you tell them? Like, because you're still gonna tell them other people. You can't help it.
Yeah. Very true.
Very good, dramatic.
Oh, that's my middle name. And I knew that square key or crazy.
Okay. Do you have it back yet or?
Nope.
Not quite.
Mark, where's your trash can?
Trash can is hidden. You have to figure out where it is. It's
I
like
like hidden trash cans. It's a mystery.
Yeah.
They're almost always under the sink.
No,
Yep. All right. You got a lot of Eastern stuff.
Yeah. Practice feng shui. So that ties it all together.
How very organized and flowy of you.
Yes.
Flowy. I wish I could have come up with a more brilliant word to use, but
Well, just call me Flo.
there you go.
Progressive.
Okay. Actually, I'm gonna take a new suggestion here. Okay. And before we resume, I'm doing a little survey. And I'm having to pick a metallic color paint to paint the brick.
Ah,
And I'm going to pick it up later today. And we've got to make a decision. The only thing metallic is this antique brass, I guess. I don't know what it would be called.
so you want to paint that brick, huh?
Paint the brick, and I want to pick one of these. I should mark it on here with an X. And I'm wondering what your opinions are so I can get a diverse feedback. I'm thinking one of these two, that one or that one, which is somewhat of a gold. Could you pass it around and see what everybody thinks?
You know what you should do? Get a couple samples. Paint just a couple bricks.
I was thinking of that, yeah. Well, what I'm gonna do, I had a I have some masonite that I'm gonna paint
There you go.
because I'm very sensitive to the odor of paint.
Yeah.
This stuff is pretty strong. So I'm gonna paint the masonite. I'm gonna cut 2 tall pieces that go from the ceiling to the floor. Paint those, leave those outside for a few
Let the
weeks.
stink
to
go away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then bring them in, but I've gotta choose the right one to begin with, and this is all I have.
Well, Audrey and I say that one, Sky says that one.
Okay.
That seems to be awfully close to the color of the floor.
Yeah, and I wanna lighten things up a little bit, so
Yeah.
that's probably too dark. Okay,
I always think the
So-
line is better.
so this one down here, Steve, did you have a comment?
Most of my taste is in my mouth.
Okay.
That's a good comment.
But
Don't
it has to
dribble on the paint.
It has to contrast the fireplace. You can't be too close.
If you let him taste the paint, he
Then-
can tell
then I
you,
can give you an
then
opinion.
he can
There
give
you
a better
go.
opinion.
Okay.
But
Yeah, because this dark one up here is close, but
Too close.
yeah.
I'm worried that it's a little too close to the floor, it's gonna just kind of blend into the floor.
Well, the flat part of the blocks at the base are gonna be covered with probably marble or something different, yeah. So anyway, thank you. Okay.
So the main point of Mark's is that he wants to bring more light in here.
Yeah,
Do you think that painting it is a good idea? Or is there any other ideas of bringing more light in here also?
let's make a wall of mirrors.
We did think of mirrors.
Yeah. and actually,
I like
This-
mirrors.
this area in the center is gonna be a mirror will be cut.
I like that you have this
For
here
that.
too. It's like bringing a mirror.
Yeah, I changed that
The
around.
hell thing.
So, yeah, there'll be another mirror that will reflect the one right above that.
We even had like an idea of broken. He wanted to break the mirror and then put little pieces.
Make kind of like a mosaic almost. Of like broken
Maybe,
pieces.
but
Cool.
at the same time, I'm against something that's too labor intensive. In the last,
There is that.
yeah, in the last 8 months, I've had to replace
Oh, you got the mirror
gas
down
line,
there. I see.
water line,
Yeah.
and the floor in here. So at this point, it's got to be pretty minimal as far as.
So you're gonna keep the mirror down there now?
No, I just stuck it there so it wouldn't get broke.
Would accent lighting not do the trick?
It might. I have some up there that I'm not even using. That's an idea. I hadn't thought of that. Could move that from there over there, because there's an outlet back there. That's an idea. I'm still gonna put the mirror in the center. That feels totally right. That creates more light. And I'm thinking as I look at the metallic insert for the fireplace, just to find something that's close to that, maybe a little lighter. So that gives me the perspective I need. Good. Okay, so, and the other thing about improvisation that, aside from being fun, it gives you a lot of skills to develop. Resilience is the main thing. You can be in a situation and you can be stuck as to what to do, where to go, what choice to make. And improvisation intentionally puts you in those situations so you can figure it out. For example, Steve, let's demonstrate. We are the worst gardeners in the world. We're going to demonstrate that, and by doing a scene. We're both gardeners, and it's like,
Well, Uncle Jack, I sure am glad we live in the desert.
yeah, me too. Nothing grows here. We don't have to water it. We can just watch it die away. Yeah.
So, what do you think about those cactus? You killed them this week. You killed them last week.
Well, we can find a lot of creative uses for cactus. Yeah, I think we should just set it all on fire.
I think we should indeed. And then I think we should lay down
We can
cement.
recycle it, yeah, yeah.
Cement
We
the
can work it
entire
into
area.
the cement, so no one will sit on it. Okay, so, the point being, you can take anything. So that situation, let's see, let me come up with a better one here. You can take any situation, for example, a person is driving in a car, visualize this, and he's in Nebraska, and he's trying to get to this place where they're having this big festival. And he forgot his map, and he doesn't quite know which way to get, how to get there. So what is he gonna do? Well,
Hey Siri, how do I get to the festival?
Siri said, figure it out yourself. What do you think I am, your mobile servant? So this person happens to have a skill that might come in very handy, and this is actually based on a true story. He doesn't know which way to turn, but he knows there's some really bad weather out there. And if he turns one direction, he's at a fork in the road, he could possibly drown because there's cyclones and rainstorms, and the other direction might be better, but he doesn't know the difference between the two. So how is he going to handle this situation?
Go down one of the wrong turn around.
He doesn't have the time to do that.
It sounds like he's a poor planner and he should really just give up traveling.
Well, he's actually going to this place to take an award, get an award.
He doesn't
Yeah.
deserve it.
You have to tell me how this works out. The award he's going to pick up is for being one of the most productive dowsers in the country. So what does that tell you? What is his solution?
He gets a stick. And he knows which way to go.
So pretty close. So he has a pendulum, and he says, should I go in this direction? He tests each of those. And so he follows the indication that the pendulum gives him. He gets to where he was going. When he got there, the other road that he might have taken, two people took that road and one person lost his life. He was drowned. There was a flood. This actually happened. I do dowsing. So you can take any. My point was, you become more resilient in the more situations that you are in, that you get put in or you put yourself into when you're doing improvisation. And I especially like these little situations. My favorite place is like a grocery store or drugstore or something, where you see exactly what's going on. You bring what you have to contribute to the situation. Most people standing in line are trying to figure out what they don't really need. As it's just trying to figure it out, and you come up and you give them a free suggestion. It's like, you really could use that mayonnaise on your face. It would probably help you look a lot better, more attractive. Or a little honey.
That's when the
next to
fight
it.
started.
Right. But being a little more positive and supportive. For a short while, I attempted to contribute to do some work with the police department and showing them how to deal with more stressful situations. Needless to say, it didn't work out at the time. But I can't think of a situation that exists that becoming more resilient could give you an advantage. What would one be? For example, give me.
There's a situation where resilience would be an advantage.
Yeah. And we're going to just go around the world.
Management of a business or company or
Okay.
staff.
That's pretty general.
Mhm.
Let's be more specific. within a business situation, we have, let's say we have a customer who is very upset because customer service did not do their job. So how would you handle that? How would that be dealt with someone who is very resilient compared to somebody who is not?
Well, I would think someone who's not resilient would melt down,
Okay,
start yelling at people,
would be limited
threatening
in
the
his
employees,
skills
yeah.
to deal with the situation.
Yep.
And someone who is more resilient would, how would they handle the situation?
They come up with various options on how to fix the situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the one area that I've seen throughout the country is police department, and especially if my skin was a lot darker than it is, would be me being in a situation where I'm being shot at because of, you know, who I am. And so without going in that direction, I don't want to get into any politics, but those are situations I think police departments around the country can use that. They actually, LAPD has a improviser on their staff.
No kidding.
Yeah. And they need it. I mean, most police departments around the country do need it. So any difficult situation that you're trying to figure out, resolve to make a good choice, being more resilient is going to help you make a better choice. And that's the outside, or the, you know, one of the many benefits of improvisation. Let's see. Okay. Emotions are really important in improvisation. You know, we live in a society where it appears to be more desirable or easier to cover up your emotions, to hold them back, to hide them, than to express them. So we're going to do a scene, and I'm going to give two people two different emotions, and they're going to use these emotions to go through the scene. And let's see. I think we'll bring the table in the corner. This is going to be a restaurant.
You need a hand with that?
Maybe. I haven't lifted this.
Oops. That looks like it could be a restaurant table.
Yeah, good.
I think we should contribute the two chairs to the restaurant.
Yeah, and
Do
two
it with the
chairs.
two chairs to the restaurant.
Yep. Yeah, because you can't improvise sitting like this for very long. It's pretty hard on the legs. Okay, and let's take two people. And let's see. Let's have Steve and who wants to volunteer? Do a scene with Steve. Audrey?
Wait, what?
She wants to volunteer.
I think you tell
Has
someone
been
you should
volunteered.
Voluntold.
yourself.
Okay, so have a seat. And so I'm going to give you a character.
I think you give an emotion.
I'm going to whisper an emotion to you.
Oh, whisper.
Yeah. So one of you is going to be a vegetarian. Which one?
Let's just start.
You're
Let's
just
just start
passing
on
it
our
around.
thoughts to begin with.
Okay. And for you, the situation, so I'm building the relationship here. You don't understand vegetarians.
Perfect, just like real life.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay, and the emotion that I'm going to give you is going to be, and the emotion that you're going to have, Steve, is, let's see. This is a difficult one. It's not really an emotion, but we're going to use it as one. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. So these are intended to conflict with each other. And so I don't forget, right after this, we're going to do points of view. I think, actually, okay, we're going to weave this into this one. When you have any type of scene, whether it be in the movies or TV, whatever, when you have conflict between people, that's interesting to watch. And I don't mean people trying to kill each other or putting people down, but just constructive conflict. You know, different points of view. And one of the most powerful scenes that I was ever in was points of view in Salt Lake City with David Rosowski, who was one of the top improv teachers in the world. And he had me and a friend of mine doing a scene. And we each had, it was life or death situation. I was being given an award and he was giving me the award. And so I use this as an example. I didn't say no. I said, you know, that award doesn't really work for me. And he said, yes, but we voted on this and this is something we want to give you. And I was in total denial that, yeah, it doesn't work for me. I don't need it. And this went on for a couple of minutes. And the person I was in the scene with was a friend, and we had never done a scene like that before. And his face started turning purple and red. And, I mean, he didn't know how to deal with it. And I'm talking about someone who's a fairly accomplished actor. And I did everything I could to stop from laughing to myself because it was so funny seeing him. I thought he was going to explode. I mean, it was such a difficult situation, so the teacher put us together in the same type of scene 2 more times. And when the day was almost over, he said, do you hate me? I said, no, we're just doing a scene. But the what's the word? The power, the resilience, in a way, that you get from doing a scene like that, where you influence another person in a very unique way. So you're going to do 2 different points of view, starting with the situation that I gave you of vegetarian and non-vegetarian. And you're going to really be these people and allow the emotions and whatever emotions are around this. So, you know, you don't understand why people would not want to eat animals, and you don't understand why people would want to eat animals. And you work this out in a scene, try and identify your relationship, what you are to each other. Could be brother and sister, it could be business colleagues, it could be anything. And so you got that. Okay, so, and scene begin.
So I think I'll have the black bean burger with a salad.
I'll have the full beef burger. I don't understand why you order that, Greg. That's not a good choice.
Black bean burger with salad, got that.
Are you sure a steak is it's really a better option? You really should go with that. It's better. He'll have a steak. He'll have a steak.
The black bean burger with a salad.
No, he will have.
No, I'm quitting my job. You decide which one to do. Okay, continue.
Black bean burger. That's not good for you. That's not a good source of protein. You're a man. You need protein. You need something that's healthy for you, and that's not going to sustain you.
realize that the beans with the bread make a complete protein.
But they're not going to. They don't have the fats that you need to to eating an animal. Like, God put animals on this
That's
earth
why
to
I'm
be
getting
eaten.
the salad. I get to put the dressing on top, which is all the fats. Honey, you just need to learn
No,
from
no,
your old man. I know what I'm talking about.
No. Dad, I went to school for 4 years to be a nutritionist. You don't know what you're talking about.
I'll tell you what. You go ahead and eat your meat, and I'll eat my salad.
You just admit that I know what's
And
best
we'll
here.
have
It's
a
alright.
Nice
Let it
lunch
go.
together.
It's okay, old man. It's alright. Just let it happen. You just someday you have to admit that I'm right about this, and I know what I'm doing.
Freeze. Now, there's the waiter who is bringing your food, and this waiter is not quite all there. So, here's your meat, and here's your bean burger.
That's not
And-
my food.
Well, you know what? This is the last meal.
Take that.
That was good. So, the manager told me that you're stuck with what we say. We spent 10 minutes here trying to decide what you wanted. So what you were served right now are what you're stuck with. So you're gonna have to deal with it. So deal with it in a more constructive way.
Well,
First off, that waiter was terrible. I think
no kidding.
I'm not saying that. So I guess there's your black bean burger. You realize you're gonna be hungry in another 2 hours because you won't be able. This is why you can't get any muscle. This is why mom's leaving you.
I don't understand
can't.
anything. Your mom spent her entire life as a vegan until you went off to college.
But look at her. She's 80 pounds, Father. She's withering away into nothingness.
Well, listen, we have the food set before us, and I've always taught you to eat what's in front of me.
Even when it's not healthy, even if it's not good food that's gonna sustain you, it's gonna help grow muscles and a strong body.
Well,
You're getting old,
I don't
Father.
know if you paid attention, but he put the steak in front of me and the bean burger in front of you, and I'll make you a deal.
And you cannot turn the table. It's being bolted to the floor
I'll
as
make
we
you a
speak.
deal.
Garbage.
You take one bite of the bean burger and honestly tell me if you like it, and I will take one bite of the dead meat beast, and I will honestly tell you if I like it.
How dare you? That animal died for you, and you're not even going to enjoy it. You're not even going to honor that life.
Do we have a deal?
No,
You won't take one bite of my bean burger.
I don't have to. That's a rabbit food. I'm not going to look like a rabbit to you.
Freeze. You can't deny it. You can't say no.
No, he's gonna be angry. He's-
So you're going to go somewhere with that. Yes, I'll give it a try. It'll be constructive. Take
Okay.
it somewhere.
Okay. Fine. I will try your hideous brontosaurus brush.
I spent $30,000 a year on your college education for 4 years. Now, I'm sure in there was a math class, but that's okay.
Not for nutrition.
It's okay. I don't mind if this is the part of your life you have to go through right now. Eat all the meat.
It's
you
not a
want.
phase, Dad.
That's the word I was trying to avoid.
Okay, and scene. Good job. Good job. Okay, let's have two more people up here. And what we're doing is essentially opposing. We're going to use this time you're going to pick the emotions. And let's see, should we have New and Sky? Or
Terry and
or Terry?
Yeah.
Terry and New.
Watch the
Okay.
magic.
So I'm going to give you the subject matter. You bring in whatever emotions seem appropriate. And the subject. Oh, okay. Okay, this should be interesting. I draw sometimes from scenes that I've been in because I know how they directions that they can go. I can see them playing out. But it all depends on you two. So one of you is having a birthday, and the other is you're going to be. You made plans. You're inviting relatives and friends for miles around, and it's your birthday, but he doesn't believe in birthdays. He really hates birthdays. So you're gonna come to this meeting at the table for
Wait, we have
final plans for
you
the
saying
birthday.
one person doesn't like birthdays?
Yeah, you don't.
Oh, I don't.
And
Okay.
you're
So
making,
now it's your birthday.
well, no, one of you, it doesn't matter, is having a birthday. The other person is trying to help the birthday to happen, the other person doesn't want it to happen. Okay. So, Chris, you're the one that's having the birthday. He's throwing a birthday party for
Oh,
you.
but I
you
don't like birthdays.
No.
This is too realistic. Okay.
Okay. So,
Congratulations, it's my birthday and I don't want birthdays, so we don't have to have a party, you get to save money.
okay, so, let me just, so he's telling you his viewpoint, where he stands. And you don't accept that. You put in weeks and weeks of work in arranging this birthday party, and you just can't accept that he doesn't want one. So you're gonna go back and forth, as to why he should have it, and he's gonna tell you why he doesn't want it, and it's just gonna build up,
Good.
okay?
Alright,
Birthday
start
party.
again.
Start again?
Yeah.
Okay. Congratulations, it's my birthday and you get to save money by not spending any money to have a party. Because I don't want a party, because parties for birthdays are something I don't want to have.
Dude, ever since we were little kids, we do this every year.
Every year we
You
have to
get
do
a
it.
party every year.
Every
You fight
year.
about it every year.
Every year.
And you always have massively good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
This
you
is your
think.
game. This is your game.
I think that's your story that you keep telling yourself, living in cognitive dissonance.
Yeah, that's your game with your big words. You want this party.
I don't want a party.
That's what you say every year.
The party that you put on last year, it had a clown. I'm 40 years old. I don't need a clown. And why are you bringing up these dead ghosts of you remember what happened to Dad last time that he came in? Yeah, you brought in a corpse to a party. That's real fun. It didn't work out. Everybody left.
The stink. Well, this is gonna be a stripper clown this year.
Yeah. Like a cake and cock party without any cake, right?
Yeah.
Great. That was a good one too. You can have it at the Ram Ranch.
It was like 3 years ago, and I remember 3 years ago.
Why? Every
Yes,
year.
yes.
Every year. I don't do this to you. Like your
I know.
birthday party,
We
it's
talked
just
about
like
it.
a dot on the calendar. It just goes right past. It's just like okay.
You know,
Okay.
maybe if you give me a party every now and then.
That is an idea.
What's the party down
Yeah,
there?
I'll give you a party, all right. Okay.
Okay, so freeze for a moment, remember where you're at, so escalate this up a little bit more. I like the direction you're going. Let's escalate the intensity, the
Okay.
emotions.
Alright.
Somebody from the table.
So here's what we've done. I have a team.
I don't want parties. I don't. It's not even my birthday. You don't have the right day. You forget all the time, and it's every year you make it.
Niall's not getting you out of here.
Okay. Let's okay.
We have
You can have the
a
party. You can have the party. Okay. You can have the party. You can have all the dedecorations. You have the cake. You have the cock. You have all the Ram Ranch. You have everything, and I just won't be here. Okay? Is it okay? Is that work everything out? So you can have. I'll put up a nice little voodoo doll. You can stab it. It look white just like me. Have a nice
that
little
might
foot.
work. It actually might be better to have a party without you. We'll have a representative party.
Representative. We can have I'll have Sky represent me. It's like
We'll be glad you're not there.
sorry we put in.
We'll have 2 stripper clowns.
Yeah.
And see, good, excellent,
We
okay.
came to a conclusion though.
It actually did, and once in a while, that's okay
It was
too,
okay.
yeah. But what you went through up to that point is the important stuff. All the emotion, the denial, the trying to convince the other person to your point of view. And so when you go into that point of view, you don't give in for any reason. you know, and you hold on to that. And that's what makes it interesting to watch the audience. It's like, well, what are they gonna do? They can't resolve. You know, how many times do you see that in a sitcom? There's a situation that has to be resolved, but it doesn't get resolved very easily. And so that's what makes a improvisation interesting to watch, because it can go anywhere. And it's only limited by your ability to see the opportunity, the options that you have. Okay, let's see. Who has not? Steve?
I've been up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we okay.
Sky.
Sky's the only one.
Sky.
who's
I'm
not
the
been
only
up.
one. I could pretend to be having lunch by myself.
Let's do this then. We'll do the same Sky.
Oh, good.
Being as you pull up that chair there, I'll take this one.
Cool. This is the.
And let's see. Okay, this one has to do with scarcity.
Okay.
And you feel that there's plenty of everything to go around for everybody, you know. And I feel just the opposite.
Okay.
And so I'm going to start out, and you are really convinced that, you know, there's plenty for everybody.
Yes.
And I'm convinced that there isn't enough.
Got it.
So that's where we're going to start. You know, Betty, there isn't any left. It's all gone.
We're never gonna run out of crickets.
I think that we might. You know, I don't like crickets because they get stuck in my teeth.
You really enjoyed the worms last time, don't you remember?
The worms were good, yeah. I liked them because, you know, when I would take a bite, you know, I would take a few minutes before I swallowed and let them sort of have the, you know, crawl around in my mouth. And it was a unique experience, one that I've never had before. So they were tasty.
Mm-hmm. And there's plenty.
I don't know. Well, you know, this planet seems to be out of balance, and it's running out of worms and everything, crickets, and I don't know.
There's a child born like every 5 seconds. So,
Yeah.
more worms.
And then there's a child that starves to death every 3 seconds.
And see, worms.
Well,
Just so
I'm
hard.
not sure if worms are the answer. Now, I have something that is made of worms that is like a Tempur-Pedic mattress, and you can put it on your bed, and it will keep you warm. And if you get hungry, you know, you can just take a chunk off of the corner. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities.
And that's like one in like a rare object.
The worms?
Your thing that you have. Your bed.
Oh, it
Your
is.
worm
Yeah,
bed.
yeah.
Well, I'm glad to know that all the worms in the world are contributing to making these rare objects.
It is, yeah. And then, you know, whenever I need, you know, even though things are very scarce, when I need some more of anything, I can take these worm beds and I can sell them, and I can get, you know, more creatures to eat.
Yes. So I've proven the point that worms have saved the world.
Well, worms and mushrooms together.
Worms and
Yes,
mushrooms.
yeah, they go together.
Yes. I agree with you.
Okay. You're not supposed to agree
I
with
enjoy it. Oh, I thought we were. I didn't. Okay.
Yeah, but that's okay. We got to an interesting undulating spot of worms. Yes. Okay.
Cool.
So, yeah, that one was interesting, you know, where it went. Okay, so let's do this one, as long as we have the chairs up here. This is let's see, where are we? Okay. Let's remove the table. Yeah, let's say that.
Oh, I can do
I
it.
got it. And we're gonna do one more, which is gonna be our performance piece. And let's see, do we need a chair? No, we don't.
No chairs.
So we're gonna use we need 4 people.
Excellent.
So 4 people up here. Whoever, I don't know.
Which one you wanna go?
3 or 4.
You wanna go?
Okay. And we're gonna stand in a square. This is, you've probably seen this one performed before.
Are you
We're in a square,
Oh, okay.
so,
I guess we don't need you, new. Sit down.
well, no, I'm not gonna
Oh,
be
you're
in
not
it.
in it? Okay,
I'm
no, we
just-
need you. Come on.
Okay,
First there's a party, then there's.
okay. So the corners here are essentially the corners where you're gonna be, just inside the corner a little bit, so you don't.
Okay.
Okay. Good. Okay, let's see, so,
That's great work.
so we have 4 scenes that we're doing here. You just have to remember where you're at. And these are gonna be very brief, and I'll say to your right, move to your left or to your right. And I'll give you each subject. So you 2 are going to be on the moon. Okay. And then move to your right, 1. Everyone move.
Right.
Oh, to the right, yeah, to the left. Okay. Now move to your left. Okay. Okay, and you are on the dealing with the moon. Okay, move to your left. Okay, and you're dealing with volcano. Move to the left.
Oh, boy.
You 2 are dealing with
Back up plumbing.
forest fire.
Sorry.
And move to your left. And lastly, you 2 are dealing with plumbing that has overflowed. Okay, so let's run through this quickly. You 2 are what?
Backup plumbing.
Okay, and that's Steve and Sky. And then next, rotate to your left. You are
Moon.
the moon.
Over the moon. Over the moon.
Alice.
Yeah.
Right, everybody remembers that. Audrey and Steve. Okay. And next, rotate. We have
Volcano.
volcano. And that's Chris and Andrew. And lastly, rotate.
Go, new.
Now, this is a lot more fun doing it.
Or forest fires.
Okay, fire.
Smokey the Bear.
And that's Sky and Chris.
Unbearably hot.
Unbearable.
Okay, so here's what we're doing. I'm gonna stand back here somewhere so I can see everybody pretty much. Okay, so rotate to your left and begin. Now it's entirely up to you. Remember, establish some sort of relationship between you 2 and where you're at, basically. in the first few lines. Okay, begin.
Did you bring the buckets?
No, honey, this is the third time this week. We need to call New and get this fixed.
You should have went to Home Depot and got the buckets. I
Oh.
said bring
I
buckets.
didn't bring them. I'm so sorry. So what do we do? I know. I'll tell you what. You go to the shed. You get the buckets.
No. The buckets were your job. I'm getting the shovels.
Okay, I'll go to the shed. I'll get the buckets. You get the shovels. And
Watch out for that.
Ew! It's another one.
Left. Okay. And you're the moon.
The moon, yeah.
You could.
So, Orville, what do you think about our 5th trip to the moon together?
Oh man, it's great, Armstrong. It's great, Armstrong. I'm telling you, this is really fantastic. They say one small boot step for man. That's not right. One small bound for mankind.
No. One small step.
One small step for mankind.
Rotate to your left. And we have volcano.
Shit's on.
Oh, forgot my camera. I gotta go back up. It's raining out, but
That's not rain. That's ash.
really gotta
It's
go.
ash.
I gotta go back up. Gotta go get my camera. I left my camera up top. It's all right. It's all right. I'll be okay. I'll be okay.
Be careful that the ash is poisonous. It'll get inside of your
okay.
lungs.
Rotate
There's
to the left.
fire.
And fire.
We made it. This is paradise.
I agree. It's a funny paradise. It's so cool.
The dream. Mhm.
It is the dream. We only could. All we need is maybe just a little warmth.
Such beauty.
It's magical.
Oh, but yeah, it's raining gold.
My feet are melting off.
Yeah, it's warm, but it's good. It's good warm.
Rotate to the left.
So I got the water shut off. I called New. I don't know what else to do with this mess.
New. He took 3 weeks last time. We're gonna have to call Chris.
Let's call him.
And same. Move to your left.
Now what?
I was looking at the spaceship. How many oxygen canister did you bring?
Oh, we're great. We've got 2 more.
No. There's no more in there. There's no more in there. There's no more in there, Armstrong.
Oh, I saw one back in the corner, a very large one.
Who are you? Mission control.
Kiss me.
Yeah, mission control.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So no, you create something. You don't want to run out.
Okay.
I was hoping we were going to get to die.
I was too. I saw some moon people over there.
Moon people.
Moon people, definitely moon people.
Hey, look, I can walk backwards.
It's already done. It's already been done.
And rotate left.
I guess I was a little bit wrong. My hand is all just kind of, and my camera is melted. But,
That would be the lava that's
yeah,
pouring out of the side of the mountain.
I can probably
You.
breathe now. My face
Yeah.
is all covered with soot. You were right.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right. But could you get my camera?
No, I can't get out. There's lava coming out of a mountain.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Pause. You really want to get the camera for him, so you're going to make an attempt.
Who are you?
Mission control. The
Control, it's
director.
always a yes.
That's right. It's always a yes.
Replay.
Yeah.
Just figure out how you're going to do that. You're being creative.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you lose your life.
Oh, all right.
Because there's an extra can of oxygen at the top of the volcano.
Luckily, I have lava boots.
Lava boots.
I would have given them to you earlier, but you said you could get it.
I got moon boots.
So I'll need those later. I got lava boots though.
Long place,
So
long time.
I'll go up and get your camera.
You're going to get my
I'm
camera?
gonna get your camera.
It's a little bit melted, but
Yeah.
it's okay.
You
Yeah.
get it. That's okay. And rotate.
Yeah.
Back to the fire. Still good?
Change my mind. I think we should leave.
No, not now. I got marshmallows.
Oh, okay. That
Did you get the graham crackers?
I forgot the chocolate, but we have the graham crackers.
Yeah, you just jump in.
But, yeah, you go first.
Mouth. Yep. My legs coming up my ankles, going to the knees.
Oh, that smells really good.
It does. Is it the marshmallows?
I think it's a mixture.
Oh, good, good.
Jerk steak.
Hey, come on closer. Come on closer.
No,
Feed the fire.
I'm good right here.
Oh.
So you can stay there.
And sing.
Good.
Okay.
You're dead now.
Now let's see. So we could have went one more scene, but this worked pretty well. You were really into the characters and the situation, the environment. So that's one that's frequently done at Unscrewed when they do their shows, and sometimes they use 3 people, sometimes they use 4 people. I like the ones with 4 people. There's just a little more variety. They usually just do 3 for some reason. I don't know why. That's most of what we're doing today. Let me see. Oh, there's one final piece, poetry piece, that I used to do with Eric Swanson, who was my improv partner, doing these Saturdays for a number of years. And so I'm going to demonstrate. This is improv poetry. Chair, please.
Just in the middle.
Just in the middle.
Poetry chair.
There
This
it
is the poetry chair. See, it's written right here.
Seated
Poetry chair.
Yeah.
And I actually have. Is everyone familiar with Rumi, the Persian poet?
is. They're
Only
possible
that.
existence.
Only that. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to just pull out something here.
This is shell silver.
E.E. Cummings.
Where the sidewalk ends.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
This is really weird.
Do it.
Mm.
I think you have to give it to you too.
Did he?
Okay.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is I'm going to read a poem.
Here's one too.
Then we're going to each take turns improvising a poem. And this is just a starting point.
Okay.
And it's the weirdest one I've ever. I've written a lot of poetry. And this one is scary.
Never heard Ruby called scary.
Oh, it's not. This is E.E. Cummings.
Oh, okay.
I'm not too familiar with, but anyway, I'm just laying some groundwork, and then we'll. So you're going to sit up here. I'll make it easy. I'll give you a subject, and that will be the poem that you build around that subject. Okay. This is called Nouns to Nouns. 1, 1, 2 nouns, 2, and 2 nouns, 2. 1 earring in sin. You are the knowledgeable us. Bring. It's different.
What language was that?
I think it was he had too much to drink that night. So here's one that's a little more grounded. Youthful, larger, or smallish. Humble, rosily, nimblest. Curling, no world. Silence is blue. Sleep, new. Girl, gold.
That was just as weird.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you just pop acid and write that in?
I did. Okay, so I'm going to improvise one, and I have one that is in my improv file that I couldn't find, but I'll have it for next time, which is a really beautiful poem by Rumi. And use that. What I do is each person reads it in their own way to add the emotion to it. So this is sort of like one word at a time as we went out, but it's poetry. So it may not be poetry as I read it to myself, but are we already in the midst of a poem, or have we finished? We do not know until tomorrow comes and we see it in a book of poetry that maybe goes by some other name other than that or it. I do not know. But when I get there, I can tell you. So it's really easy. You just let the flow go. And that was just from anywhere. So who wants to start?
Steve.
Steve.
You volunteered.
You know that.
He's good.
Okay, Steve, I'll give you a, usually helps to have a subject matter to begin with. So the subject for you, for your poem, is flowers.
Flowers, flowers everywhere. Pretty little pink ones, little rosy ones, stepping on the flowers throughout the city, leaving crushing. Vapors rise, smells good, poor dead flowers.
They're drowning, they're getting crushed. Bad day for flowers.
Which of you two are going next?
I'll go.
Okay, let's go with painting. In any way you wish to interpret that.
Fumes. They build.
That's an emotion.
This is my emotion.
Evelyn, you can feel like that. Mission control.
It's a death poem. That was part of it.
Show us.
I can't breathe anymore.
Mhm.
I don't want to breathe. I'm a silent cougher. And I'm dead. That's it.
Who's next?
Steve.
Okay. Subject would be hands.
Oh, to have hands. Oh, everyone walks around on their hands. All hands on deck. What it would be like to look at my own hands. To look at your hands as mine. No hands. I have no hands. How do you feel about me having no hands? Do you want me to fill you with my stump? I have a sense of touch, but no touch from my fingertips. You took my hands. You took my hands, and I can't even hold a knife to stab you in the throat. Thanks.
wait a minute, maybe we shouldn't clap.
Yeah, I saw this one, what was it, this one, he did a bow and arrow with his foot, he had no arms.
Yeah, it's good.
And then the one guy, he got a medal and they tried to shake him his hand.
Oh,
Forgot.
That was good. Who's next?
I guess
There
there's only
you
one
go.
person.
I suck. You told me last time.
Well, I don't know if I can follow that.
And let's see, your subject would be the desert.
Desert wasteland of my heart was so empty for so long. As it filled with crushed flowers, I felt no reason to go on. Then I view the desert, and everything is harsh. Everything is powerful. Everything survives. As I feel my life start to blossom, I feel I can survive. I may have the pricklies, I may have the spines. Stay away. Come closer. Stay away. Come closer. Ouch, it hurts. I don't care.
Yeah. Good.
And one more.
Oh, y'all's depressing, man.
Well, let's be more uplifting.
Thank you.
Let's see. Okay. Animals.
Oh, that's a cute one.
That's why I gave it to you.
The freest of souls, the most complete at heart, the most innocent to hold, and the warmest to our known selves. They create love and beauty. They love with no end and no notion of limitless or conditional. It's simply a connection of spirits and a connection to something, even though we have no plane on which to exist on a vocal scale, we somehow come together in a way where we speak to each other.
Oh, great.
My new dog sitter right there.
Well, I don't know if you realize, but all of your poems were very good. I don't know if you perchance were able to record any of that. Is it? Yeah.
He's got no hands. How does he press record?
You all did an excellent job. I mean, look at how easy it is to improvise a poem. And the quality of what came out was really exceptional. I have to commend you, each and every one of you, for what you did. This is one of my favorite parts. I always do this at the end. And it's such a beautiful conclusion of how to express yourself using the skill of improvisation. Did you know that those words were hiding somewhere inside of you, waiting to come out? They were, as each and every one of you have shown. Yeah. So, have a seat and we'll wrap things up. How did you all feel about what we did today? I'd like to just go around the room and get some feedback. Anyone? Steve?
I love playing. And it's fun to do it with new people you don't know what to expect from.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Good. And referring to Audrey, was that a pleasant surprise, this whole
Oh yeah, definitely.
experience?
No, it's really cool. It's really cool, and I think everyone has. It's really cool that everyone has like their own sense of humor. What like works for them, and I don't know. I think to a certain extent that it's all kind of universal to a certain level. Like certain things are just funny. They just are. They're just funny. So even to have different people, even though you have different like things you may do differently, there's a certain level where we all connect and we all can find something to laugh at. Like,
Yeah.
we all at one point are like laughing our butts off today at something, you know. So it's one of those things where it's a good connector and
Yeah, it certainly is. Thank you.
My favorite part was actually being in the exercises. I think the more chances I get to get up there and actually push beyond my limits is what's the most value to me.
Yeah.
So the time in the actual exercises are my favorite part.
Right, okay. And I might add to that, you never know, in the future, you may be in a situation where something from one of the exercises that you did may come in handy.
I mean, you never know when you're gonna be stuck in a situation where they hold a gun to your head and say, improvise a poem or I will shoot you.
That's right.
And now you're ready.
where are your moon boots?
Right.
Yeah, a lot of good takeaways from this. Yeah, yeah. Well, I just take a lot of joy and satisfaction from listening to all of you and see you do things that you didn't imagine you could do. And having done this a number of years, it never fails to amaze me at the talent and the quality of your ability to express yourself in whatever form. And my improv groups are different every time. The same structure is warm-up exercises and one or two performance pieces. And the time goes by just like that. So I want to thank you. We have two more people. Sky.
I liked pushing myself into thinking more out of it.
Pushing yourself into thinking.
Thinking, like when you gave me cues, that's what I enjoyed.
Okay. Well, I might add to that. Yeah, in improv, one of the goals is to think less, because it's the thinking that gets us in trouble. Because we're used to being in our head, and so if you come out of your head and step aside, that's where the real creativity is hiding.
Okay,
It's there, and you did great.
thanks.
Yeah. And then we have something new. Pass, okay. And you can always pass if you need to, or want to, or just haven't made up your mind whether you want to or not. So, well, good.
Thank you, Mark.
Yes, thank you all. And,
Let's give it to Mark.
thank you. So, next Saturday I'll be doing an evening one of these for people who work during the day, and there's a few people. Actually, I had Jaime in mind when you said that he works.
Normally he would be available then, but it just happens that his job has their holiday concert
Right.
next Saturday,
Oh,
So- he will not be available.
yeah.
But you have the opportunity to go see him strip.
Oh, yeah, if you would like to see Jaime.
He's a painter?
None of you know who he is. He's a performer in Tucson. His stage name is Jaime J. Soto, and he's part of the Libertine League tonight, and they're having a burlesque performance called, oh my goodness, has something to do with winter, at 191 Tool tonight.
Freezing your nuts off the burlesque.
Yeah. I forget what it's called. But if you're not familiar with burlesque in Tucson, Lola Torch is the leader of that group, and she's been doing burlesque in Tucson forever. But it's less traditional burlesque in that they don't have to stay true to the burlesque, classical burlesque themes. But it's a good time.
Yeah,
Anyway.
sounds interesting.
Maybe Jaime J will make it here. He is interested in improv, and he
Yeah.
would like to
And comedy,
participate.
he wants to pursue that. What else is that?
What did you say, Joe?
He wants to pursue comedy.
Yeah.
And then what are those guys doing out the window?
Say, whose car is over there? Well, I'm gonna get going, y'all. Nice meeting you.
Okay.
Nice working with you.
Thank you, Steve.
I'll see you online.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I'll be sending out reminders each week.
I expect at least 2 servings of meat a day.
At least.